Bit of a recap on my last 2 days of my happiness project, my happy habit project. If you've been following, for the next 66 days, I'm going to make it a habit of counteracting any type of mood or downtime or anything I have with a happiness habit, meaning I'm going to make the decision to be happy in those moments because I feel like there's always, something to be grateful for and something to be reflecting on that is worth being happy about, and rather than sitting and dwelling on bad things and bad times. Like I've mentioned, there's so many things in my life that I've got peace with at the moment, but one of those things is really reflecting on how much happiness that I have during my day. And if I recap day 2 and 3, which was sort of over the weekend, I did a bit of a recap on Saturday. I missed out for Sunday yesterday because I was just doing downtime with the family. And what I've realized, obviously, is it's really easy to control your happiness, or making the decision to be happy, or being conscious on reflecting on your happiness in moments that you can control. But obviously in life there's lots of moments that you can't control, and those moments you can't control is where it gets really testing and trying to be like, okay, what is my happiness in this moment? Like, what can I pull out of this moment to be grateful for, to remain happy? So for example, a few things that are out of our control, obviously. For the most part, we're having a bit of difficulty, I could say, with our son at the moment over bedtimes or just general mood, and it's one of those things. It's funny because I always say to Courtney, like, surely most toddlers don't act like this, but she's obviously got a lot of friends with a lot of toddlers and they got multiple kids. We've only got one kid, but she's like, trust me, this is what toddlers are like. So I don't know if I'm just being naive, but the tantrums and the mood swings and things he's just unhappy about, and it seems to be like pretty regular at the moment. I think it's also a bit of lashing out, obviously, because we've got a puppy, so a bit of time and attention goes on the puppy. It's almost like having a second child, so he's sort of acting up a little bit. So one of the biggest things is obviously, his mood and those things that we can't control, and like the tantrums, and he gets very unhappy. And it's just like, as a parent, you want your child to be safe and happy, right? So when they're not happy in those moments, I'm like, kind of gets me down a little bit. I'm like, why is he like this? Why is he being like this? What's he so upset about? How can I control it? What's the best way that I can discipline him, and all these types of things. And then obviously when we try to take moments to do as a family, they don't go to plan, because like I said, things that are in your control is creating a plan to go down to the waterfront where we live, this beautiful place, have a picnic, spend time with our family and our puppy and everything. And you get down there and a 3.5-year-old is like just not having it. They're just not happy about anything to do with the situation. They want an ice block, they want an ice cream, they want this, they want that, they want to go back home and do something at home, they want to go to bed, they're tired. Like, there's things that you can't control, and in those moments it's really hard to like find peace and be like, how can we really just be happy in this moment? Because it's difficult where they're upset and they're acting like that. But it always comes back to gratitude. Like I said in my last video, it's just gratitude. And it's just like, if our son has the time to sit back and reflect, or express to us that he's unhappy about the situation of going to a picnic, wanting to go do something else, wanting to do that, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, the gratefulness in that situation is grateful that we have food in our stomachs. We have the ability to sit down and have a picnic without being worried about being eaten by some type of animal. We don't have to worry about the safety of our lives. We don't have to worry about the food in our belly. We're going to try and find food and to be fed for the night. So we have to be grateful about the fact that what we have, right? What we have is an opportunity to be able to sit down with our family, take some time to relax with our things, our nice picnic blanket, our biscuits, our cheese, all that type of stuff that we can afford to pay for. And the gratefulness comes from that moment. And then the other moment is obviously, as much as a toddler sort of whinging and crying and ruining the moment, it would be a lot better than not hearing his crying, and not hearing if he was not with us, if he was somewhere else. People lose their children, people lose loved ones, or he could be in hospital, he could be sick, he could be anywhere but there with us in the picnic. So there's gratefulness in the health and the, I guess, the expression of emotion from our son in that moment, because he's there and he's able and he's safe, he's able to do so, and the gratefulness that we're able to make the decision to go do something like that. And they're the things that you got to reflect on and be truly happy about. And that's kind of my recap of day 2 and 3. You know, it's obviously, like I said, it's pretty easy for me to control my emotions in the moment when things are going to plan how I want them to go to plan, but things don't always go to plan, and that's like 80-90% of the time, like in your life. Unless, you know, there's situations, obviously, when you step outdoors, there's always factors that are going to contribute to things not going to plan, and it's about, I guess, adapting those moments. And I think that that is one of the things that really helps us in those situations, is that Courtney and I have been very adaptable human beings. But yeah, it gets hard in those situations when we can't control, obviously, our son's mood, but it's just about stepping back and being grateful. But it's a challenge, right? I put my hat out to single parents. I put my hat out to people that have more than one kid and dogs and all that sort of stuff. Because at the moment we're going through this period where we're like really struggling with how we discipline, what ways we discipline, how we get our message across, how we get our child to listen. And ultimately, for us, it's just trying to give him as much love as possible in the moment to let him get through those emotions, let him experience those emotions, because a lot of parents try to get their children to withhold their emotions, and that gets pent up over time and turns into uglier human beings in the future. I'm going to leave it there for day 2-3 recap, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.